Hello, everybody. I'm sorry I'm late. I literally just ran into the house, um, ran downstairs here to the studio, and threw everything together to make a show happen. I really, really, really thought that I could make this happen tonight. I had a beer dinner event like hours ago, and I thought that I would be able to wrap the dinner up, and then I anticipated that it'll be a little bit close and that maybe I would have to just go live at the Casual Pint or something like that just to get a show to happen. I should have known better, right? I should have known that I would have gotten sidetracked and ended up hanging out with Jim from Municipal and Chad from Narrow Path, and spending some time shooting the shit and drinking a few beers, but I didn't. Yes, Marco, the drunk line is, let me double check before I tell you that, is open. Yes, it is open. You can call in 567 70 drink. Let me put it up on the screen for everybody. There it is. There's the number. You can call in. You can take part in the show. I'm going to open a beer. It's been a big night. I experienced a bunch of fun stuff, talked about a bunch of fun stuff. I hope that I hope that audio and video is in sync because I didn't have time to test anything. And actually, to be fair, we have a caller, and I'm guessing it's Marco. Let's find out. There we go. Marco?
Yeah, buddy.
There we go. How are you?
It's not Monday anymore. It's Tuesday.
I don't even want to talk about it. I have to get up at 5 in the morning, and it's gonna be a long day tomorrow.
I gotta get up. You and me both. I mean, you get up at 5. I gotta get up at like 5:45. So
well,
anyway, so you had the beer dinner, and then you talked with Chad, which is awesome. I love talking with Chad. He's awesome.
Man, it's been a long time since I've gotten to sat down and have a conversation with him. We have not ever sat down and done a brewcast at Narrow Path. And a big topic of our conversation tonight was, kind of why that hasn't happened and how we can make it happen. And it was a good conversation.
Yeah, he's a good dude. I mean, hopefully, he's always treated me and treated Cellar Dweller very well. CJ, our head brewer, and Chad have a great relationship, and so do I. And during the past few months during the pandemic, when we had I don't want to say we had nothing going on, but one of the things that we wanted to do was really understand what some of the breweries were doing, and Chad was very open. I spent half a day at Narrow Path with Chad and our Cincinnati State intern. Um, we talked about a lot of things. I mean, several things. I mean, hours worth of things, and tried his beer. He had a wonderful Norwegian ale that was a collaboration with I think it was Nine Giant, where it was just uh, forged. Uh, I believe it was forged spruce and something else, and he and Nine Giant were collaborating, and it was just it was a fantastic you know product. It was amazing, and we spent half the day there, and then we went to Mantry, and got a full tour, and got to talk about things with Ryan. Not Ryan, the head brewer for the 100 barrel brew house, but Ryan, the head brewer for the 15 barrel brew house,
That
who
sits in the shadow of
is
the.
yeah, yeah. But I mean, he has a lot to do with packaging as well, and so he both experiences were great, and they treated us great, and um, I love getting to sit down and talk with Chad because we just get lost in conversation, kind of like we did, and kind of like we did earlier in the week or last week actually. Just get lost in conversation. It's fun. It's a good time.
Well, I mean, the point of all of this, beer drinking and craft beer and just all of this stuff is just hanging out and like just shooting the shit with people. And like I maybe it's like a product of COVID and the fact that we weren't able to hang out with people in the same way for the last year. But like when you get a chance now, like it feels so much better now. Like I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
yeah, I mean, without a doubt. I mean, and we can, yes, we sat down and had beers earlier or last week, and anyone that follows the weekly pint, not necessarily even your show, knows that you and I can sit down safely and have a beer, and we're not it's not a health uh, issue for the two of us. But when I went and sat down with Chad, we certainly did make sure that um, we were staying healthy and safe. But it was just like you know two friends sitting around and talking, and it was fun. And getting people to be willing to gather and be close enough to have a conversation can sometimes be hit and miss. I mean, I have some friends that um, prior to prior to the pandemic, we'd get together and we'd talk over wings and beers, and it's taken on a different form, and I respect that because uh, I want them to be as safe as they can be, and hopefully we're getting to a point where that uh, morphs into a little bit more of a sort of pre-pandemic experience. But
we're getting
we'll see.
close. We're
And
getting close.
yeah, yeah, we are, and and that's good, and that gives great hope to the business that we care about and talk about on a weekly basis. When people can go back to their places and feel good. Heck, I was at brewery yesterday, and you know which one because that's the one I go to every Sunday
Right.
down the street, right around the corner from my house. And man, the place had a great showing. I mean, a good turnout, a really, really good turnout. And it it wasn't it wasn't football season. There were sports on TV, but I felt like there were replays of something. I don't even know,
there's
but
always something happening on TV.
yeah, I mean, it was, but it was a nice turnout,
Right.
and I loved to see that where, places had people, and as we progress, as the 65 up and older population continues to get vaccinated, as healthcare workers get vaccinated, as people that work in schools get vaccinated. I mean, you, you've got a lot of people that are starting to be able to feel like they're okay. I mean, following the protocols
Right.
and being in the general public.
Well, that was what was
So
so
that
neat,
that
So tonight I got to go to a beer dinner, my first beer dinner in literally years at this point. And like, yeah,
I had a beer dinner. I had a beer and a pizza.
I was
But,
sitting at a table by myself, and that's a little bit strange, but at the same time, like the way it was set up and the way the room was, like I didn't feel like I was alone. I didn't feel like I was in like an empty space. Like there was, you know, people around and like there was a conversation happening and like it just even within the confines of, the safety protocols and COVID and all of that stuff, it still just felt good. It felt normal. And like that's something that I've been craving for a very long time. And you get these little flashes of it, and you can see that we're on the right track to get to something.
yeah, and I I uh, I definitely feel that way. I feel that way more now. Also, that the that my wife's been vaccinated. Now my wife's been vaccinated. My kids are still not
Yeah,
necessarily
we're in the same
like
boat here in my
the
house.
uh, the kid trials going on. I know locally for the Moderna vaccine, and I only know that from Facebook posts because some of our friends have their children in the test group, and I mean it's important to I mean it's important to make sure that the vaccine is safe for children, but it's also important for children to get vaccinated as well. But I have a uh, a whole new perspective having come through the situation, or I mean I'll just say it. I came through COVID. I mean I can't get it at least for a period of time, and I can't give it to anybody.
Yeah.
So that there's a definite feeling of a liberation, at least if I know somebody else is in my same boat, right?
Right. Right.
If my supervisor, unfortunately, is battling COVID at the moment. Um, and I told him, I said, and he and I would go out for a beer occasionally. And when I say occasionally, it would be Tuesday when we both got off work early and we'd, go to an establishment. And I said, one good thing is once you get through this, is that you and I can go get a beer, and we won't have to worry about the social norms
Right.
around the distancing, and that's great. And that leads to the discussion of you know things that are beyond my expertise, which most things are,
Well,
which is the herd immunity,
it's all
so
a
to
very
speak,
complicated math
thing.
problem, right? I mean, you've got like 15%, or I think is what the latest statistic I read of people that have been vaccinated. you've got that coupled with the people that have had it within the last 90 days or whatever they're saying right now is the amount of time that you have antibodies or whatever. You start to couple all that together, and it becomes this formula for how many people can get it versus can't get it, and that number just keeps growing every day, and that's exciting, and that feels good. And obviously we're not in the clear with any of this stuff, but you see those numbers dropping every single day, and like you can see the light at the end of the tunnel finally.
Absolutely. And we're, if we want to move it out of necessarily a, a COVID, immunity or this, that, whatever talk,
Yeah.
we can move it to a brewery kind of outlook perspective, and then I do want to hit on something from the brewcast because it struck a chord with me. I mean, for all the tens or hundreds of listeners that you have
Right now I think it's just me
at
and you.
Tuesday morning, Tuesday morning. But what I did want to talk about is that there is positivity, at least from our perspective, that we're going to be able to have some sort of maybe not like it was in 2019, but we are going to be able to have a giant gathering, and we would call it festival, and
Right.
maybe we should not call it a festival. Maybe it can be, or maybe we can call it a gathering or whatever. But we are hopeful that we are going to be able to have a an event in June. And we are very, very bullish on the idea that we're going to be able to have the Oktoberfest in September. To what degree we're hopeful and waiting, but we believe that we're going to be able to have that, which
Right.
is exciting. And unfortunately, I mean, we know that St. Patrick's Day is not going to happen again this year necessarily the way that it would. Bachfest is not happening like it typically does, but they're going to do their I guess virtual Bachfest, which I'm sorry, it's never been my event.
I
It's
love
not.
Bachfest.
Yeah, I mean that's cool. I mean I love that you love it, and it's unfortunate that the fate of the malt house is what it is. I'm sad about that,
Uh,
but
the malt house isn't the problem with Bachfest this year. It's a much bigger problem, but the malt
well,
house probably doesn't help.
I I don't know the intricacies of any of that, but and honestly, I don't want people to get mad at me. It's just not my cup of tea. I mean, I don't mind having a Bach, but my God, um, no, I just
I'm all about it, man.
and having
Start Oktoberfest,
eh,
roll into Schwarzbier season, and then roll out with Oktoberfest or with
yeah.
Bachfest.
If we want to
I'm all
bring it
about it.
back, if we
I love
want
it.
to if we want to bring it back to the brewcast, I mean, after what did it say? After Oktoberfest, and they want to have, they want to, see a Schwarzbier season. Like, I'm cool with that. That's okay. I mean, you're not gonna get Oktoberfest and then
No, that's
But
different.
if you do, great. I mean, look, if you do, fair. I mean, fine enough. I mean,
But
maybe we can make it happen. But no, not, I mean, not really. And then Bachfest, which is fine. But the
this
thing is,
the city
the
needs
biggest problem.
the city needs festivals like that though periodically throughout the year, reasons to get
I love
together
it.
and drink something that maybe you don't drink in other parts of the year. Like we need that kind of stuff.
Look, I'm fine with all that. I love benchmarks. Look, I don't need to be chased to run, and I also, no, excuse me. I need to be chased to run. I don't need an excuse to drink. But what I mean is, I love the camaraderie that comes with, and of course, with COVID, you can't do that. But as we come and lean into the fact that, at some point we're coming out of our coming out of our quarantine. We're getting, into and dipping our toe into more, regular sort of uh, social interactions. Let's have these wonderful benchmarks that are things that we can get together around, and I love that. And whether it's next year, the year after, or 10 years from now, if Schwartz Beer Fest is a Cincinnati thing, then fantastic, love it. Now, what I will say to continue the transition, and I don't know how long you wanted to be up and talk on this show that's not a show that happens on Monday that actually happens today on a Tuesday. Um, it, Non-alcoholic beer.
Oh, that's a big topic.
You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. All right. I just poured a fresh beer and then probably got to go pee soon. But since it's Tuesday and I was waiting since Monday
I'm
for
sorry to
the
leave you hanging since yesterday.
no, no, you don't have to leave me hanging. I just might have to leave you hanging while I go use the restroom. But no, non-alcoholic beer. So I enjoyed the discussion around it. Um, Let me say that I love Justin's concept about the fact that he loves non-alcoholic beer as a segment or a category for those who have a disease and maybe don't want to fall off the wagon, and that may help them continue to or have a piece of joy that they haven't had. I mean, let's think about this. If
Right.
if you've been on the wagon and you're fighting this disease every day and you're making sure to stay uh, sober, and you have the opportunity to have something that gives you a real delicious experience. And by the way, for those people, the beer that they feel is delicious does not necessarily have to be in line with what we feel is delicious, right? With
Right.
what we feel is actually something that is, sparking a style, you know, hitting scenario.
Right.
It, they just want something that is in any way grasping at nostalgia for the taste profile, and they are happy.
That
And
describes a lot
for
of beer
that,
drinkers in general.
well, for sure. And for that, I love that. Now, what I would say is, in my experience, when I've tried to filter in non-alcoholic beers into my experience, um, I let's say I had a 8 or a 10 hour uh, uh, smoke day where I was going to put something in the smoker. So what I would do is I'd grab some beer that was fully leaded, absolutely, you know, regular craft beer that I wanted to have, and then I grabbed some non-alcoholic beer of different varieties depending on you know the day. Honestly,
Yeah.
the 8-10 years ago, St. Pauli's Girl NAA was the only thing I could find that I felt was even close to craft. But that was still too sweet. If I would do, um, you know, Old Duels was terrible. If I do, maybe it was Coors NA. It was super malty. Um, it just felt very heavy. But anyways, so I grabbed the beer or the NA product,
Right.
and I would, you know, put that in. I would space that into my day. And the problem is, it never really satisfied me in any way, shape, or form, except for volume, meaning I just drank something
Right.
and it was not satisfactory. It was not tasty. It felt very malty, too sweet. None of those things hit. Now, fast forward 10, 15 years, I have not had Athletic. I have not had. Sam Adams came out with uh, Just the Haze,
Yeah, just the haze.
which is which is a non-alcoholic beer, right?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
now
which I
now
have not had.
I almost feel like there's a couple different categories of non-alcoholic beer though. Now, you've got the places that are making non-alcoholic beer that are like a fractional percentage of alcohol, which traditionally speaking has always been the way non-alcoholic beer has been. There are places, and the one we drank on this week's brewcast, Heineken, supposedly is literally 0%, which is different than the fractional percentage that traditionally some of those places have been. So I don't know if they
Gotcha.
should be.
So
I don't know.
if it's if it's lower than 0.5%,
It's
right?
non-alcoholic. Yeah.
It it's not. But 0.0 is actually 0.0,
Yes.
which is from Heineken.
Yes. But that being said, the Heineken was still kind of malty sweet. It didn't have any kind of hop anything going on, and I don't know. The athletic stuff was good. I need to try it again on a fresh
Was
palate
it?
and kind of really kind of explore it and figure.
Yeah, I mean that's what I mean though. I mean, was it, or are you grading on a curve and
I
saying,
am.
yeah,
Yeah. No, it's been on.
it
It's
was
everything's
it
been on a
was
curve.
good.
I
Same
need.
way with gluten-free beers, right? Like it's
Yes.
on a curve
Yeah.
because it kind of has to be, right?
Well, but at the same time, yes, so
Well,
far,
when I say it kind of has to be, I'm not even saying it from your perspective. I'm saying it from their perspective because they're the ones saying, like when you said, "Hey, how would you rate this taste wise versus a psychopathy?" And I'm like, "Well, I can't have it. I wouldn't know."
but it's no different to me than pick a style that I don't like, and I can't think of something, we'll say I don't know. I can't think of something off the top of my head that is a good example, but a style of beer that I don't like compared to a style of beer that I do like is going to be graded on a little bit of a curve. Like I might be able to appreciate
Right.
what
Well,
it
I mean, for
is.
years you knocked on Belgians, and you
That's
finally just now you're a Belgian whore, and you're a Belgian whore in the sense that I'm like, no, I don't really like Belgians until I actually get to your brewery and you have a Belgian and I
I
taste
don't
it, and you're
I
like,
don't like
well, you know
Belgians
what?
until there's one in
I
front of me.
like Belgian. Yeah.
But I'm like all of them are graded on a curve because I don't not that I don't like Belgians anymore because I think I might, but a style of beer that I don't like is going to be graded on a curve to things that I do like if I'm actually being honest about the beer. You know, like it
Yeah,
becomes very complicated. It's all complicated. This is all so complicated. It should be simple.
yeah. Well, oh, so um, uh, let's put it in a different perspective. So I'm Marco. I'm your friend. I'm your friend because let's say our lives were together and we got together a couple times, and I had your I don't know. Let's say you cook ribs, and I'm gonna come back to your house, and we've all had curry, so to say, and what you found out is that uh, I have um, been, I don't know, what do we want to pick, gluten free, or do we want to pick alcohol free? Let's say I'm uh, managing my alcohol intake. I'm not alcohol free, but I'm managing my alcohol intake.
Right.
And so I only have alcohol on weekends, but you are smoking ribs on Wednesday. And so I'm gonna come on a Wednesday with my wife, and you as a offering are gonna offer me um, water and non-alcoholic beer. Which ones are you choosing to offer me?
I don't know. I'd have to do a lot of research.
A lot? I mean, first of all, I wouldn't do a lot of research showing up at your house. I just trust that this guy who's called the Gnarly Gnome, who, has, you know, yeah, podcast, web episodes. He's out there in different social media platforms. I mean, I trust this guy, and he's going to have something for me to
I'm
drink at his house. And by the way, I don't drink sodas, and you know why I don't drink sodas? They'll kill you.
oh I you know
They'll kill you.
if you're asking me honestly, if I was in that situation where somebody was coming over and I'm grilling out,
No, I'm not being honest. I'm no,
no,
absolutely
but
I'm being
and
honest.
and we're hanging out all day, like I'm probably buying just about everything that's on the shelf, and we're gonna tear them all apart, and we're gonna figure out what is a good one, because that
You know what?
intrigues
You
me
know
to
what
the
I love
point
about
that
that is that you know what I love about that is you said you're gonna tear them apart.
yeah.
That means you're gonna take part in my non-alcoholic experience.
Oh, of course.
That's beautiful. That's wonderful. And
But
I never asked you to do that.
but we
But
don't
I never asked you to do that.
we don't drink
I
because
would show up.
we don't drink because we need to pump beers into our veins. We drink because we are hanging out with somebody and we're experiencing something with them, and we're partaking in this communal thing. Like that's why people drink. That's why I do a live show instead of pre-recording this and just throwing it up for people. Like we hang out together and we drink together, and we do this together. Like that's the whole point of drinking.
So where are you getting the Blue Dog non-alcoholic stuff that you're gonna feed me?
I you can go down to, well, no, you have to try to drive to Columbus, I guess. No, I think you can get it at Jungle Gyms. You can get everything at
Maybe.
Jungle Gyms.
Do you want to slightly touch on, but before I have to go to the bathroom and I have to tell you goodbye, do you want to slightly touch on the Blue Dog conversation on the Brewcast?
What I mean, in what regard? I mean,
Well, so you said a phrase that I have used before, invasive species, and then
yeah,
Justin did partner with them with a collaboration,
yeah,
And he said, "Hey, I want to know what do you mean by that, or what are your reservations necessarily?" And then you took it to a place where he said, I want to walk into a space and feel like it's local,
Yeah.
which is fair, which is fair.
I want to feel like it's
Um,
real, I think is a better way to put it.
okay,
Not even
real.
necessarily local. Like if somebody comes from out of town and maybe they are like a brew dog or something like that, and they are really honest about it, I think I'm okay with that. Like if I know that
That's great.
when Stone was looking to open a an East Coast brewery, we were in the running for a while, Cincinnati. I think if Stone opened a brewery in Cincinnati, I think I would have embraced that. And I think I would have been okay with that
Okay,
fact that they were here because they would have been very open and very honest about the fact that we're Stone. Like we're a San Diego brewery. We love San Diego. We're glad to be here in Cincinnati. Like I think that would be
okay,
the case.
that's cool. That's
It,
cool. I need to ask you. I need to ask you a question.
yeah,
Does BrewDog, being from, what are they from, Scotland
Scotland. Yeah,
or Scotland? Uh,
I mean depending on how you look at it, but yes, Scotland.
Scotland. They're from Scotland. Do you feel that they are craft? When
Oh yeah,
it
yeah, yeah. No,
craft. Period. 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 No, I mean like not AB. Like hey, if uh, Golden Road came into Cincinnati and Brewdogs in Cincinnati, do you have them on the same plane or different planes because one's owned by AB and one's from Scotland? Like, I just need to know. You feel Brewdog is craft?
yes.
Period.
So
Okay.
BrewDog as a
Well,
company
if
or BrewDog as beer, because those are two very different things.
uh, my questions about Brewdog as a company.
As a company, I don't know that they're craft anymore. They're
Well,
they're
then that's
borderline.
my point.
They're borderline.
No, that's my point. They, they
But I don't
that's
know
my
that that
point.
I don't know that that matters.
Okay, that's fine. Um, Let me ask you something else. Um, and keep in mind, I'm not against I'm not against Brewdog. I'm just
Right.
asking the question.
Right.
Um, they are an invasive species. Why? Because they're from Scotland. They're from Scotland, and they came to America, and then they are trying to. Um, they are saying, "Hey, we're craft," and then like, okay, fine. But then they start taking uh, and setting up shop, and like we're like, okay, well, but you're craft, but you're not local. You're from Scotland.
Right.
Nope, but we're from Scotland, and we have a Cincinnati tap. Okay, well, are we supposed to love you, but you don't brew beer here? Well, but we brew all of our North American beer in Columbus. Okay, well, but and so we love you, and we love the fact that you employ all those people, and we love that you know, uh, put in, you're in our community, and you're going to be a part of our community, and that's great. But are you local because you're from Scotland?
Right.
And my point is that they are from Scotland. They're not from America, and you know. I'm not hating on them. I love that they are in our community, and I love that they employ people in our community, and um, you know the 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 jobs they provide and the beer they're producing is great, and I love that. And my only points of thought, I'm not even going to call them issues, are that they're not they're not originated here.
Right.
They're not they're not they're not Cincinnati. They're not Columbus. They're Scotland. Um, some of their locations do or don't produce beer. Um, Now, what I would say is, it seems they have never not been trying to be good stewards of the locale.
Right.
So that's fine. But my bigger point is my original point. Clearly, Golden Road is owned by AB, and you say
No.
no, that's not okay. But
I I think
they originated in Scotland. They're not American. They're not local.
I think
Are they
platform is
still
the better
craft?
the platform's the better example because, they're Ohio. It's an Ohio, born brewery that's now owned by AB. How do you reconcile that as a beer drinker?
Well, they're
Especially,
off my list.
yeah, I mean,
I mean, they're off my list. Period. Because they're owned by AB. They're off my list.
right. I can I can relate to people who maybe were fans of them before that was their spot, especially if you lived in, Cleveland or Columbus or wherever, and you had some kind of real tie to a platform brewery, um, and then they sell out to kind of have to deal with that and understand, that your brewery is owned by, this evil Goliath of brewing evil. Like I can understand that. I can in some ways relate to it, but yeah, I think that's a better kind of struggle versus BrewDog or somebody else because they are like foreign.
Well,
Not that that's a
but
bad thing, but
it,
it's not.
well, I'm again, I'm not taking a side, but what I'm saying is it's a foreign company. They're
Yeah,
outside the United States
yeah,
that are taking dollars from companies that were, um, you know, created here in the United States. Now, they're trying to be good stewards of that. The other aspect of it is, and I don't even know if I know enough to get into this, is the fact that they try to crowdsource so much of their income, like, and they are just so pedal to the metal opening places. Like they put, you know, um, um, uh, BrewDog, um, investor pamphlets in their, six pack,
yeah,
things, and they are taking so much money, whether it be $1 or $2, they're taking so much money from people out there that are, just investing, and then they're, advertising that they're gonna, spend it at the casino on, you know, whatever this and that and
yeah.
whatever. It's just, um, their funding initiatives are just, insane, and keep they just keep finding a way. I don't know how, but they just keep finding a way to fund projects. And what I just wonder is, does anyone, uh, and I don't have the time of day to think about it, but does anyone have an issue with the way that they actually fund these things, and then, have to end up closing them,
Certainly,
and,
people do.
so on? And this is not me. This is not my. I do not waste um, you know my my time thinking about this, and but uh, I don't know how many people take issue with the way that BrewDog. I I have no problem with if you have the money to continue to open locations that you open them.
Right.
But I imagine there are people that take issue with the way that they are um, uh, crowdfunding and then just deciding. Like um, it seems like with the uh, energy neutral locations, with the taking over locations that Stone couldn't do, like BrewDog could actually do it better. I don't understand that. Where I mean, Stone couldn't figure out how to uh, make it work, but BrewDog can, and then it just always trying to crowd fund, um, and then just the continued list of BrewDog locations that are opening. I I don't I don't know how they. It seems wild that they can continue to fund these projects
Uh,
off things that
people want to
small breweries.
people want to connect with something. And if what they connect with
I mean,
is a foreign entity, they're still connecting with it.
I guess I don't know. I guess
Yeah,
it's just you know
I don't fault
at,
anybody for what their spot that they connect with is. I wish people could find a place that is a little more local, but
right.
you
Well, my point is, I mean, if you're gonna send $10 to BrewDog because you got a pamphlet in your 6 pack, I mean, why didn't you go buy, you know, 2 or 3 beers at your local brewery and spend that money maybe in a different
yeah,
way?
I mean,
Um,
and obviously the comparison is not fair, but those are also $10 that are not being spent with Budweiser or Miller Coors or whatever.
that's fair. That's fair. And if if
I
if we're gonna count them, if we're gonna count them as not them, then that's fine. That's fine. And I don't count them
right.
as not. I don't count BrewDog as AB, but I do count them as invasive. And
I definitely do.
now, as long as they're going to be good stewards in the community, then that's not a problem. And so far, they have proven to be that.
Yeah.
And so, cheers to them.
I can definitely agree
All
with
right,
that
buddy.
part. You go pee, and we're gonna look at some upcoming labels, and then I'm gonna sign off. I have to do laundry. I had to climb over laundry baskets to get down to the basement when I got home. So
All right.
evidently, I think I'm probably in trouble.
All right, buddy.
All
Cheers,
right.
man. Good to
Cheers,
talk to
Marco.
you.
Thanks for calling in.
No doubt.
We'll see you soon.
Talk to you later.
All
I
right.
love it. Bye.
Bye. So yeah, the BrewDog discussion is definitely a show within itself. Let's like I said, let's look at some labels. This is a new segment on the show, something that I'm probably going to get a little bit of shit about because I'm going to air everybody's upcoming, not dirty laundry, but everybody's nice, clean, fresh laundry. These are beers. Disclaimer, there's no promise that anything that I am showing will be released. This just means that it could be released. Beer and booze and wine when those pop up, but we don't see a lot of those. Back to Cincinnati Distilling Company. That's the March 1st Sycamore kind of formerly Sycamore line of spirits. This is their peanut butter whiskey. If you've had that before, you know it's delicious. And this is with the new artwork. Kerrigan. This is exciting. Evidently, their bourbon whiskey is about to be released. We saw some teasers about some barrel aged boozy products on social media. I was hoping it was rum, but I will definitely take bourbon. I'm excited to try it. I haven't had anything from their bourbon line because obviously bourbon needs to age a certain amount, but they never did the whole the white lightning moonshine quote unquote thing. So I haven't gotten to try this yet. So I'm excited to see what they've done. We're going to roll through this pretty quick because we're getting close to the end of showtime. And like I said, got to do some laundry before my wife divorces me. Punch, this is just a label approval for something that is already out. This means they can probably send it over state lines now. Maybe they're going to go distribution in Kentucky. We'll see. Another Northern Row. Although you guys, I didn't show them on here, the previous Northern Row labels. This is for their Heckler Juicy IPA. On a little bit of another note, stay tuned for stay tuned for a video coming up. I am gonna do like a head-to-head. I'm gonna compare a bunch of juicy / hazy / New England IPAs. And I'm going to do a big video and figure out which one that I think is the best one. So this is not one of them because it's not in packaging yet, but hopefully soon. So Heckler from Northern Row, a Rheingeist one coming up. This is one of their barrel-aged sours. This is just a draft only, so it's a keg collar, if you can tell by looking at it. This is Loretta, their barrel-aged sour with lemon and ginger. Marionette, Czech-style pale lager. I don't know what that style means. I think it's kind of like a Pilsner, but not a Pilsner. But again, draft only. Here's a draft only. Well, here's a draft offering, a keg collar from Sam Adams, Equal Opportunity. It's an ale aged on raspberry puree. This is one that is kind of all encompassing. Some of these keg collars are brewed. They put them through for all of the breweries, so that doesn't necessarily mean that the beer is going to be brewed here in town. It could be brewed anywhere. They just put the same collar through just to kind of cover their bases for everybody. Same with this one. Ohio is my origin, although I would assume with a lager that is called Ohio is my origin, it's probably going to be brewed here instead of Boston or Pennsylvania. So I assume this one will happen here across the street in the production facility. Let's see. There we go. Sorry, I had to download. Double squeeze box. Although I thought, no, maybe it didn't pop up yet. This is obviously Urban Artifact double Midwest fruit tart with strawberry. This is my favorite Midwest fruit tart from Urban Artifact, the double version. Label approval. You've seen this beer before, though. Fire iron, the keg collar. They change these periodically. So not a new beer, but this is a little bit new. So if you pay attention to this, it's the gadget, which obviously we've seen before. However, if you look really close, it says 1 pint. 1 pint, 3.2 fluid ounces. So this is 18.2 ounces. I don't really know why that is. I assumed it was a 16-ounce can, but now that I look at that, it is not a 16-ounce can. It's an 18.2-ounce something. Yeah, who knows? Maybe it's a bottle. I have no clue. But keep your eyes open for that. Some more Urban Artifact, Kaleidoscope. You've seen that before. Kaleidoscope keg collar. You've seen that before. Paperweight keg collar. You've seen that before. Some more Cincinnati Brewing Company or Cincinnati Distilling Company. Sorry. Voltage Vodka, their vodka line. This is lemonade flavored vodka. I assume pink lemonade since the label is pink, but maybe it's clear. Sometimes the labels, when they get approval, are a little bit different than they actually are in production. Who knows? But either way, lemonade flavored. West Side. Here we go. Here's some fun stuff. Dry hopped Pilsner. This is kind of their baseball themed beer. It's dry hopped with some big noble hops, so earthy hops. It's not that big, kind of citrusy American crap. This is Pilsner. Pilsner, the way Pilsner is meant to be. Let's see. Marco is calling out Julia. I assume Julia is in bed because we're doing a show at 1 o'clock in the morning. West Side Rausch beer, smoked lager. It's not surprising from West Side, super traditional. You guys know what they're doing, right? Amazing stuff. That's all that is popping up here. However, it didn't come up because I probably didn't drop it in the folder. Going back to this, Ohio is my origin. There is a label approval for that, and it's not popping up here. Let me see if I can pull it up for you, though. Unless I just didn't save it at all. Let's see. Hang on, it'll take me just a second. Artwork. Sam Adams. Nope, I didn't save it. Sorry. I mentioned the Northern Row stuff. I can pull up all those labels real quick just to. Oh. Yeah. We got another call on the drunk line. Marco, what's up, buddy?
Hey, buddy. Long time no talk. So I just wanted to ask, who needs a Rausch beer?
Everybody needs a
I
Rausch
mean,
beer.
no, no, really, no. I mean,
Oh.
seriously, who needs a Rausch beer?
We need Rausch beers. We
Well,
don't need everybody to make a Rausch beer, but we need Rausch beers.
Wait. I don't disagree that there needs to be a Rausch beer. Like, so John Hall. I don't know if you know who John Hall is.
Uh-huh.
You're a very in-depth beer person, so maybe you do know who John Hall is, and I respect his writing. He's got podcasts. Maybe you know of his podcasts, or maybe he knows of yours. I don't know.
I know of his. I doubt he
But
knows of mine.
well, if he's any good at what he does, maybe he should know of yours. But I do know because I follow him on the social, as the kids call it. There is a new this week in Roush beer social that you can follow. I what I would say is I don't mind Roush beer. I can enjoy a Roush We don't need a movement for all beer to be Roush. That's ridiculous. It's insane. We don't need like a hazy IPA movement on Roush beer.
No.
That's not. We do not need any of that. Um, Having a Roush beer, the difficulty in finding a Roush beer is valid because there's not enough of the segment that wants to have it. However, there should be some somewhere. And so that's what I would say is that if Cincinnati doesn't have one, Cincinnati should have one. And if we're going to have one and West Side decides to do it, good, fine, that's great, good.
You also don't want to. You
Um,
don't want to stop. So if I'm a brewery and I think I can do better than what the current one is, if West Side is the one right now, if that's the road, kind of that we want to go down just for demonstration's sake. If I'm Joe Schmo Brewery and I think I can make a better one, make a better one, and then
well,
and we'll
what I
try
would
it. We'll
say is,
see.
what I would say is, it's first of all, it's going to be super limited, right? So if you get Ryan Geist to do one, they didn't do it on their regular system,
Right.
right? So more like narrow path, like narrow path says on, I don't even know how big their systems are, but
I
two
think
barrel, three
5.
barrel, six barrel, five barrel. Five's kind of a lot. Five's kind of a lot for a Roush beer. Like, because you're talking about 10 kegs. And if you got a beer that nobody wants to have, that's kind of a lot. Like, I'm not even joking.
No, I
I'm
know.
not joking. I mean, my system's 5 barrel, and if I make a something that is not mainstream, I mean, I could have it for 6 to 8 months, and it's ridiculous. So, um, Nine Giant. I don't know. How big is Nine Giant? Let's go smaller.
I think Nine Giant's like 10. Right? No,
Wow.
they're not. They're not
Let's go
10, are they?
smaller. We get a Common Beer Company. Uh, Common Beer Company, award-winning brewery, Common Beer Company,
Mm-hmm.
makes a Roush beer.
Right.
Um, uh, uh, what are we talking about? How many barrels?
Oh man, I
Uh,
I don't. They're 5 to 7. They're
yeah,
yeah. No, maybe they're
damn it.
3 to 5, somewhere around there.
That's that's kind of big. That's kind of big.
There's not a lot of places that are
Let's go
smaller.
to let's go to your favorite then, your smallest. Let's go to Fibonacci.
They are not the smallest.
Fibonacci. Okay, well,
Mash
tell me
Cult.
who is.
Mash Cult would be the smallest, right? No, no. What's the place? Bardwell out in Mount Orab. They're, I
Who the
believe,
hell is
I
Bardwell?
believe 10 gallons at a time.
Well, I'm not saying that because I'm dogging them. I did not know
It's a
Bardwell Brewing
very small,
was
very
a
small winery out
situation.
in Mount Orab that has a brewery license. Also, I believe they have 3 beers that they make.
You are very close with Fibonacci. If
You
Fibonacci
just
made how big's Fibonacci's brewing system?
1 barrel.
1 barrel,
Yes.
1 barrel, right? If they made 1 barrel of Roush beer, how
Uh,
many months would they have it?
Oh, that's a really good question. I don't think it would take as long as you think it would take, depending on what they called the beer and how they marketed it to people. Because there's a whole world there
Yeah,
too.
but it's one barrel.
It,
My point is one barrel is two kegs.
right,
Like if they sold it in a month, like that's still slow. You know what I mean?
right,
From a big turn beer perspective, it's still slow.
right.
By the way, I think if Fibonacci did one, it'd be fantastic. Um, but I don't.
That's what I'm saying. You would have to sell it properly.
No, but I think it'd be fantastic. And if I did one, I think it'd be okay. Uh, but I am not. I am not moving Roush beer. I can't. I can't. I mean, my smallest batch has to be 5 barrels, and I am out in, you know, BFE. I only get major traffic on the weekends, even though we're only open 7 days a week. I can't do a Roush beer. We don't. I mean, and nobody wants to distribute a Roush beer, even though we don't distribute. That it's not feasible. I can't do that, and uh, it's too off mainstream. I
Right.
mean, period. Can't. Uh, but I'm not saying I'm not going to appreciate it. And I would say there is a hole or a lane where if you're in Cincinnati and you want to f with it and you want to get into it. I mean, that'd be good. I mean, you could do it, and you do it right. I mean, you could be the Cincinnati Roush beer place.
Well,
Um,
there.
but I mean, is that what you want your moniker? Is that what you want to hang your hat? Is that when you get together with all of us, last half of this year or first half of next year, and like, yep, we did it. We're the Roush beer guys. I mean, and all of us come up to you and kind of give you a high five or nudge you a little bit for saying, all right, okay, all right, you did Roush beer. That was good.
there's there's room for people to play with everything, and we want people to play with everything. Just keep experimenting, keep throwing things out there, keep seeing what people like, what people don't like, keep giving people those chances to try things that maybe they haven't tried before. Depending on who you are, your clientele, your customers, your fans may have never had a Roush beer before, may not have any idea what the style is. It's fun.
It is fun. All right, John Hall this week in Roush beer. All right, I'm gonna get off here and go to bed. And
Yeah,
all right, now good to talk to you on a Tuesday that was supposed to be a
that's
Monday,
right.
and no problem. Anytime you need me, you got me. And glad you got to go to a beer dinner. And talk to you soon, my friend.
I'll talk to you soon, Marco. Thank you.
Got it, buddy. Bye.
Later. Um, uh, Roush beer. I'm all about it, guys. Just brew everything. Brew all the styles, and we'll sort through them as they come out. Um, I'm gonna wrap things up because my wife was texting me, and she's upstairs saying she doesn't know where I am because I'm hiding here in the basement, and I need to do laundry. So that's my life. Thank you guys. For those of you who are tuning in after the fact, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you couldn't join us live. I'm sorry that I was late. I'm sorry that sorry. I really did have good intentions to make this show happen at normal time, but you know how it goes. Life is always complicated. Just so happens that tonight's complication was a really fun complication. So we've got that working for us, right? I don't know. I'm sorry. We'll be back next week. Stay tuned this week. The big Bach post of the year posted today. So go check that out, or yesterday, I guess technically. Every Bach beer in Cincinnati. Go check it out. And then new brewcast next week, new brewcast this week, new brewcast the week afterwards. Just lots of brewcasts and things happening. You know how it goes. You know how it goes. Cheers, guys.